What is good? Welcome to a brand new episode of Drag the Lake. Welcome to a brand new stream of Drag the Lake. How the heck is everybody doing? If you're listening to this on iTunes, you're watching over on the Panties page, you can always go over to the Drag the Lake page. I'll try to remember to put a link down below. If not, just fucking search Drag the Lake Andy and it'll pop the heckin' shit up. But if you're also watching the streams and stuff and you're like, damn, I want to listen to this while I drive a forklift and crash into stuff. Well, we got audio versions. So look for us on all the audio apps and shit like that. With me, as always, the late, great Patrick George. Pat, how the heckin' S are you? Bright-eyed and bushy-tail in a really good mood. Nothing getting you worked up. Nothing getting you pissed. Just positive energy.
Well, Andy, I feel like you're not trying to lead me at all or change the mood, but I was railing against technology right before this. And
yeah, Pat was definitely in he was in his, you know how like the kids today, they'll talk about they're in their villain era or their hero era.
Yeah.
I think Pat, now I'm not super familiar with the Terminator movies, but Pat was in his Sarah Connors era where he was fighting against the machines.
Yeah, shooting at some liquid nitrogen right before we started the stream. And Andy said, don't do that. You're not supposed to do that in a residential area or period. And I'm like, fuck you, pig. So no, I've said it a couple times and I don't think it makes sense. And it's also kind of mildly advocating racist tendencies, but hey, who am I? It's Sunday. Let's go for it. I would be the worst character in Django. Like, remember Candy? That guy? I would be that guy, but if
which one was Candy? Leo?
Well, you know, obviously I'm Leo. This guy?
Did you say worst?
Yeah, he was. Well, I mean, he was the guy that
misunderstood. Let's get it right. Misunderstood.
Okay, yeah, you know, you did give the guy a drink. The guy that won the fight, he was like, "Hey, you get a big beer, buddy. Go ahead, go out to the barn. And
Everyone likes a big beer. Everyone likes a big beer after your Mandingo fight. Everyone wants a big beer."
But I would be that, like, you know how like everybody says eventually, you know, the computers are going to take over and everything. They're going to remember everything I've said to them. So I'm screwed, but I'm going to get one in while I can. You know what I mean? I'm gonna.
Yeah, I think in the best interpretation of that though is the computers are not going to take it personally, because I think the computers I don't think they'll be able to. I don't think they'll be able to develop in a way where they'll turned into like sassy mean girls or anything. I think they'll be indifferent. They'll still look at you as your like qualities, like what productivity can we gain out of this? And then the computers and the cyborgs will go, oh, we need snacks. Let's let Pat live.
they're gonna think, yeah. I think that's a really good point, because like the issue with computers taking over is the exact reason why I won't be a big threat to them, because they will go that because they can't feel feelings, everything that I've done, because everything I say, I go, you're machines, you work for me. Okay. I said, I bought you. I've literally had these loud, very long, basically dressing down of the computers, of saying, come on, you got one fucking job. When I click the goddamn thing, do the goddamn thing. And I don't think that they're going to be upset by that, but I've never actually struck them. I have struck a couple. I got a pile of bodies in the closet. My last laptop stopped working one day, Andy, and then a couple other laptops and maybe like a iPhone or two.
I'm not big into assaulting technology, because I'm like practical to a fault, and immediately my brain goes, well, that'll break it. You know, old school TVs, you could like slap it or something and that'll jostle it back too, or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I go to yelling and stuff. Like I'll yell at technology. Like I've been on one of the at work, like one of the stand-up forklifts, and you know, some of them I like the ones that have less safety protocols, because a lot of the guardrails on the forklifts, not literal guardrails, but like they have these safety guardrails, so you make sure you don't go too fast, and you know, you don't get too wild out there. They make it kind of annoying to drive it and stuff like that. So I'll be like standing still, but your feet have to be in this perfect spot or else the shit stops, and then the shit will stop and I'll be like, I didn't move my feet though. So then I take it personally, like the fucking machine's doing it at me. Like,
Right.
I won't hit machines because if hitting it doesn't solve the problem, why would I do that? But I will take machines not working very personally.
Yeah,
Like
I
will assume that the machine stopped working because they think they're trying to teach me a lesson or something.
I've gotten to that same point with everything. And I actually get into these weird. So it's Andy, I realize already the problem is me. It's on my end of the deal. That's my problem. It's my cross to bear, because I will, you stub your toe on something, or a big thing that happens to me is like either like the edge of my shirt or like my pocket every once in a while. Like if I walk too close to a door frame, it'll get caught on the part of the door or something like that. I don't know what
yesterday. I did that yesterday. Me and Steph.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, no, dude. I'm sorry. I'm bonding with you over being retarded.
But it's like nothing will get me from 0 to fucking retarded angry and like just going like you. But then I get angry like that, right, Andy? And then I immediately yell at the thing. And then, what I yell at the thing is, "You're a door," because I say it out loud, and then I immediately it diffuses because I realize how stupid I am by being mad at a door and taking it personally. So I wouldn't suggest you do that at work. Just go, "You're a forklift." You know what I mean? Like,
a lot of the forklifts don't treat me badly. It's the new stand-up forklift with the safety protocols and stuff. They're fucking annoying as shit. And they go super slow, and I don't get to feel productive.
You can change that, Andy. Yell at them.
Yeah, I can get frustrated. There's certain bad things that'll happen to me if they don't make sense why they're happening to me. I get frustrated really quickly.
Yeah. It's car doors shutting when I don't want them to. It's running, stubbing my toe, running into stuff, anything really. Dude, there's nothing. I hate having to repeat myself in general, but I don't like the fact that like I don't like having to like repeat like setting a cup down and then the cup tips over. It's like I don't know what it is. Just like, I didn't fucking do that. I don't it's like I get pissed off when things that are inanimate don't meet my expectations, when there's no way they could, because they don't have consciousness, Andy. They don't have expectations. They don't know what they are. They don't think.
Don't let that get in the way of you taking that shit personally.
Right.
Because that cup did that at you.
Yeah. It's the
same. And don't ever fucking forget it.
I really do not understand why every once in a while, actually it's every time I need my computer to do something. That's when it's going to be like, all right, let me go ahead and try it. Like, oh shit, I'm late for the stream with Andy. Let me get this camera set up. The camera's like, what? Dude.
Camera's like, huh?
What? Which way do you want me? What camera?
What?
Fuck.
Wait, what? What the fuck are you trying to do?
I've even gone to whisper. I get close to it and I go, "You're supposed to fucking do this. Until you take over, you gotta do what I fucking say."
You're such a little fucking bitch. Little bitch ass. Little pussy ass bitch ass camera.
Thank you, technology, for letting us stream to the masses.
Oh yeah, speak of the that. Oh because no, I just wanted to what?
Because we're good people.
Because we're good. Oh no, we don't have to make it into a whole fucking thing. But if anyone noticed that we took down the last episode, we were basically, and we say this to encourage people to go give more money to Year of the Knife, because things are I'll put it grim. This way. Things are no, I wouldn't say grim. I just think things are a bit rougher than we expected. And I remember our nature is we go on here, we goof around, and sometimes and you goof, and then sometimes you get more information on the things you were goofing on, and you're a human being and you feel bad about the goofs. So I believe in karma. I don't like having bad karma out there. And I personally genuinely felt bad about the goofs given more context and developing situations.
Yeah.
So we took down that episode. I thought it was, it was better. Get those misinformed goofs out of here. It's not because I'm not trying to do it to be like, we realized we were wrong and we're apologizing. And no. It's just like for me, it was a personal choice because I was seeing more information about the Year of the Knife situation, and it was it made me sad. It made me sad, and so to feel better, I took executive order and I took down the episode. So, because whatever, don't.
But it was a mutual choice. Like that was a thing where like I totally agree with the fact that it's not a nobody complaint. Like it wasn't a complaint thing.
No, it wasn't a complaint.
It was literally just a thing of like, this isn't. It literally.
I wish we were more. I wish we were more popular so we could deal with people mad at us. It was it was a solely between us and no one else decision.
Big strike. Everybody kept saying they're not going to listen to us. And we're like, well, what? Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. It was a lot of people going, wait, who are you? Who are you guys?
Yeah. It's not that. And that's not, but that's ultimately, like I said, that wasn't even the intention of like, oh, one day this will come. No, it's just literally like, they're fucked. They're a little bit more fucked up than we thought. And it wasn't as funny to us anymore. So it's like one of those things that like,
it got sad. It got substantially more sad to me, and I didn't want to. But anyway, either way, we say all this to say, we try to be good people and support the important things to support. So we just wanted to take another chance to encourage everyone to go. The link is gofundme.com/f/YOTK-recovery-fund. I actually just looked it up and I was trying to find it and I just found like another there's like another one set up which actually had like $3,000 to it, and I don't know if that was an offshoot of it, but I think this is like the official one. So we'll put this one in the comments and encourage people to go check that out.
But honestly, hopefully either both of them are like legit and
the one I just showed is definitely legit. The other one that popped up, I can't tell if this is I don't want to show it if it's not real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, because I wouldn't put it past fucking people to piggyback off something horrible and try to like make some fucking money like that.
Some shithead opportunist trying to take advantage of these poor people in their time of need.
Not to start the episode off in a bummer, but shit happens, life happens, and as we've been saying it before, this music, actually, this kind of correlates into a conversation I wanted to have. Perfect. Because we live in a world where, unfortunately, like the metal and the hardcore and stuff we like isn't as profitable as I think it should be. And stuff like that. And, it just sucks that you have bands like this, bands like Year of the Knife and all the other like heavy hardcore bands that we talk about that just aren't, it unfortunately needs to be more of a passion project than it should be, in my opinion. And so this kind of correlates to this tweet. I actually saw this early. I wasn't even planning on talking about this, but I saw this tweet earlier today. Let me pull it up real quick. But it was funny. I saw this tweet from this lady because I normally see her popping up when it comes to like political conversations and stuff like that. So to see her showing up on music, like on metal Twitter, was very funny. But Dr. Sydney Watson, she's just one of those people I see pop up all the time on Twitter. I don't know actually like what she even sounds like, but she tweeted this. She goes, This might sound insane, but I feel like there's a conspiracy against mainstream rock/heavy music. I never hear heavy bands on the radio. It's the same terrible rap pop bullshit, and you cannot tell me that people don't enjoy heavier music because the 90s, 2000s were full of it. New age music is so soulless and repetitive. It turns your brain to Swiss cheese. And now I don't think she's like 100% right on that, because funny enough, my phone, it's funny, a fucking new iPhone's coming out in like a month or two.
Yeah.
And now granted, I've had my iPhone for a while, but new iPhone's coming out, and my phone just seems to be acting up here and there and shit.
Yeah.
But also I will say this though, it is hot. Has been hot as fuck out where I live, and I've had a couple times, I think my phone's been fucking up just because it's like overheating and shit like that. And with the constant like system updates, I bet you with old technology trying to run new software, it's probably working double duty. But either way, I say all that to say my phone was spazzing the fuck out. So I turned it off so it could cool down. So for like 10 or 20 minutes, I put on the radio. And it actually, now granted, it was like the college radio station. I haven't tapped into actual mainstream rock radio in a minute. My diet of mainstream rock radio type of stuff is whatever is on the fucking like rock this Spotify playlist, which is usually pretty treacherous. But I will say it was cool. This college radio station, they were putting some like heavy growling music on. So it was cool as hell to hear that on the actual radio. But yeah, I will say this. I do think a big reason why, now it's a multitude of reasons. I'm very curious to hear your perspective on this, Pat, but I think a big reason why like mainstream rock and metal and stuff like that is not as relevant is just because, to put simply, it's been generally bad, like really bad.
Yeah.
And uninspiring and not exciting.
I think it's honestly what it is okay. So in my opinion, even a lot of times because there have been waves of heavier bands being more popular, but they have somewhat of a popular twist as well. Not necessarily pop in the sense of like Justin Timberlake, the Katy Perry's and the pop stars like that, but popular. So like Linkin Park was pretty heavy, but they had a really heavy hip hop influence as well. Sugar Ray was a band that was heavier. When their first album came out, they were a little bit more alternative or punk rock in a way, but then definitely leaned towards a pop, like a soft rock, hip hop kind of way. Even like with the DJ, everybody had a DJ. Even in the popular bands, there was always like a designated spot for a DJ. So no matter what, I hadn't thought of it really, except because all of the bands I liked were niche or underground and didn't have a huge following as far as I knew. So I always kind of equated it to that a lot of the heavy music that I was into, or a lot of the heavy bands that I liked, didn't have the audience or the reach, and didn't have that extra element in their band to appeal to more people. So hip hop fans were open to Linkin Park because they liked hip hop. People that liked more mainstream rock bands, because that's the thing, is there have been mainstream heavy bands. Believe it or not, Nickelback's pretty heavy. They're you know what I mean? They're, as far as musically, Metallica.
In what context?
In the sense that they have they're playing rock instruments. Do you know what I mean? Like in the sense that they use distortion and that they have double bass every once in a while. Like that's literally it's just introducing other people to elements of music that I like more of. Double bass.
I hear you, but it feels a little bit of a like. It feels like it's a slightly loose association, because it's like, yeah, they have distorted guitars and stuff like that the same way that fucking Metallica does. But I would not say, and Metallica also too has gotten past the point of, I mean, in my context, of being heavy. They're heavy, but I wouldn't say Nickelback's heavy like Metallica is. No.
I'm saying that's I'm just giving different like examples of heavier bands that have been out there, that have like System of a Down's another good example of somebody that has like, they have weird elements, they have screams, they have weird, you know what I mean, like, but not a whole thing. It's very melodic, it's very catchy. Rise Against is another, like, these are bands that I like a lot that it worked both ways. Those are bands that made it on the radio, but again, not a ton of airplay, not nearly as much as like the tweet was saying, mainstream pop and hip hop and stuff. So Slayer wasn't really played on the radio a lot unless it was a special case, like DJ or somebody. They opened up request lines or anything like that. So I think there is a definite point to. I don't know if a conspiracy is necessarily the right answer, but I don't know why, because there's plenty of people that hate mainstream pop music enough that they would be like, God, why do they fucking always play this bullshit on the radio? You know what I mean? Like there's people like that like heavy music. So why not give the people that like heavy music the time in the sun and have other people go like, what the fuck is Black Dahlia Murder? You know, or what the fuck is, you know, even Every Time I Die, they make it to like EA Sports games and stuff like that, but they're not on the radio.
Yeah, but even when they what songs there's made it to an EA Sports game? It's probably the new Black.
Yeah.
Jinx. I love you. Touch my pee-pee.
That's hard to do on a stream. It's hard to jinx yourself on a stream.
Yeah, and that's a real that right there should be a real good selling point on StreamYard. Like you can't do a fucking jinx on Zoom. No, you can't.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, dude, we should reach out for sponsorship. We got a commercial for it.
I gotta stop, dude. I'm too much of a StreamYard spokesman right now. We have to stop being so positive.
They're okay.
Yeah, I mean they could be better. Just to have me fix it.
They're kind of fat.
I'm trying to. I apologize if it looked like I wasn't listening. I'm trying to pull up like music charts. Which sidebar? I was trying to pull up the Billboard top rock and alternative songs, and then they showed me the number one, and they were like, "If you would like the full chart is for paying pro members." And you're like,
"Fuck,
Billboard, eat my fucking pussy, dude!"
Yeah,
like,
dude.
What the fuck are we doing? Like
Yeah.
it's the same thing when you log on and like the Washington Post was like, would you like to pay for this? And you're like, suck my fucking balls. What the shit are we doing? You guys spend all day manipulating everyone's goddamn mind with your bullshit. Now you also want me to pay $2 for this dumb fuck article? It's like, and this Billboard, just tell me what the top songs are.
Did you pay it?
No.
Oh.
I refuse. No, but I'm trying to find fucking lists. I'm checking Spotify. Here we go. But no, because it's a interesting. Yeah. Wait. What? Fuck. Where are we going with this?
You're looking at you're trying to find the list of I guess popular nowadays or just in general.
I'm very curious with like what the top rock songs are right now, and because I looked at one list, dude. I looked at one list, and all the bands on there, it was very telling based off just the first like 10, because it's like you look at, okay, who are the top rock and alternative bands? First one, Jelly Roll. Now I got no problem with Jelly Roll. I've seen a lot of shit. I've actually had fucking friends hang out with him. They say he's a cool fucking dude, but if the number one rock act is a guy who does rap country, your genre's in shambles.
Yeah. I agree.
It's nothing personal against Jelly Roll. It's just like, and then I start going through, and the other bands are fucking. It was like Metallica, Avenged Sevenfold, all bands that have been around since I was a kid or before then. And I didn't get to a new-ish band until like number 6, which was I Prevail, and they're not even that new.
Yeah. I think there is an issue though, because even on Sirius and stuff like that, I like Sirius Radio. I like their talk stations, but I also like some of the music stations are actually pretty decent, but this is what I don't understand, dude. And maybe you can explain this to me, because in general, I don't understand this aspect about radio at all. Is even on like Sirius XM, and for the longest time, like a lot of those same bands have been on the radio. Bon Jovi or something like that, right? Let's just say Bon Jovi, for example.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they're still playing the exact same fucking songs from Bon Jovi on the radio.
dude.
Like, why don't you go into other like that? You have a whole album.
That's what drives
me.
me. That's what drives me fucking crazy about the radio, because it seems so simple, and it's like, guys, no one gives a fuck about you. Get a little bit crazy, and you turn on the radio, and what the fuck do I hear? Oh my God, Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers, which not a bad song, but like I've heard it 7 million fucking times.
Paranoid by Black Sabbath. Why not Fairies Wear Boots? Why not play, like, when I heard that song, I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh, Black Sabbath. Oh, because I've only heard like 4 Black Sabbath songs my whole life, because but there's other great songs. That's why they're popular, not these 4 fucking songs. It's because they can back up the 4 songs. And if you can't back up, so if what the fuck did I just say? Bon Jovi? Bon blow me, huh? If Bon Jovi doesn't have songs to back up the hits, like if he doesn't have deep cuts, then at this point, let's cut him loose. Let's make that space for somebody else. Because look, in the 80s and like 80s and shit like that, there was heavy music was very popular. But it was gay heavy music that sucked. You know what I mean? It's Motley Crue. It was fucking it was a bunch of guys going like, yeah. But there was good heavy music happening at that time that could have broke through with them. But no, they only went with the marketable, weird, stupid, heavy music.
So let me sorry.
No, that and I don't understand why, like, even at points where heavy music was popular, even with those stupid elements, why weren't other good bands able to like break through more and get, and that's what I don't understand is, like, I guess, is it maybe a hesitation by the band? What band doesn't want exposure on the radio? Offspring did it. Offspring's a pretty heavy band that made it on the radio, but not their heaviest shit.
But they even correlate. I was actually going back with shout out Black Mark on Twitter. I was going back and forth with him.
You don't have to bring race into it, Mark, but it's okay. I'm just gonna call you Mark.
He goes by Black Mark.
Oh, okay. Sorry. African American Mark.
Oh, actually, no. He goes by Mark. I actually love his Twitter handle because he goes by Mark. He used to be Black Mark, and his handle is The Darkness, which love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. But no, you reminded me too where you brought up the Offspring, and I wouldn't maybe I'm being autistic, but I wouldn't categorize them as heavy. But if you go and listen to their old stuff, like, it had some edge to it. It had some edge to it. But
I see what you mean. Heavy, like music. Yeah, I get you.
Wait. Let me stay on this thought. You always got to remember, when I'm talking, I might get super autistic about certain things. No, it's weird. There's other things where I'm very like, who the fuck cares? But do not misgenre a band in front of me, or else my tism will fucking cover your back.
I was thinking edge. I guess I was thinking like where they have like they rip. You know what I mean? Like they have.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. Not heavy. Gotcha.
Well, that also just comes with a conversation. Conversing back and forth. Everyone's got different fucking definitions of words. But either way, I tweeted. So I tweeted about this tweet, and I was saying, I personally said, I go, it's not a conspiracy. Mainstream rock and metal is very bad right now. It all sounds like it'd be on the start menu of a sports game or in the background of a Target ad. And then we are going. Mark's going back and forth. But Mark, when you brought up the Offspring, it reminded me of this tweet because I can correlate it to bands like Bring Me the Horizon or Devil Wears Prada, where you look at them and you go, oh yeah, it's so like they were kind of the underground band, and now it's like they're popular. But then you go and you sit back and you go, yeah, but what does their music sound like now that it's popular? And it's like a band like the Offspring, they had some edge, but now that they're popular, it all just sounds like dad rock. And then a band like Bring Me the Horizon, that's all just fucking like girl pop, goth girl pop. And then Devil Wears Prada, you were going on about how bad the last Devil Wears Prada, and I gotta say, besides the Zombie 2 EP the Devil Wears Prada put out, their last couple releases have been like uneventful.
lackluster. Yeah.
And I think actually bringing it back to saying how like the Offspring had edge, I think that's kind of the thing with mainstream rock is it all sounds like it all just, and it's not like an overt thing, but it's a thing people feel. It all just sounds like a fucking Target ad and shit like that. It all just sounds like shit like that. And it doesn't have, like we were talking about with old Offspring, it doesn't have an edge anymore.
Yeah.
And like we're, well, and I think that like a big reason why rap is beating it is because one, it's like generally just more catchy. I think people are being more creative in their melody. Well, creative might not be the right word because you can have a catchy melody that's not overly creative. But either way, rap is a lot more catchy. But I think one of the big things that rap has, because I thought of this when you brought up like Motley Crue. Think about like we joked that they all looked like ladies and stuff back in the day, but they were bad boys and they're destroying dressing rooms and they're just fucking a lot of chicks and doing all that. And I think rock music had this sort of thing where we all sat back and we realized like, oh shit, everyone we loved had a Me Too. And there's been this like huge over adjustment in the past decade or two with rock music. And it correlates to a conversation we had before where I forget the name of the fucking band, but the bassist of the one fucking band was liking like fucking Tim Pool and tweets like that. Then all of his fans thought it was justified to spaz on him just because it's like, you know, there is this thing where if you don't follow, and I'm not trying to get political, but there is this thing where if you don't follow the sort of foo-foo progressive thing that a lot of these bands have, people are going to pounce on you. And I'm sorry, but from like a marketable standpoint, that shit's not going to be as marketable because it's going to turn you all into fucking pussies. And if you look at rap music, they're still rap is still being like, yo, I fuck bitches, I make money, I fucking, you know, I got the strap on me. They're doing things like it's still rap is still exciting and dangerous, and shit like that. So I think it's an easy win for rappers right now because they don't have a lot of competition. Because rap and rock are supposed to be a little bit dangerous, and rock seems the safest it's ever been, and it's fucking boring. That's why I like listening to I like listening to Kubla Khan, and I like listening to fucking Jesus Piece, and I like listening to these beat down bands because like super specific experience for me. I'll listen to these bands and I'll sit there and I go, can I hold my own in the pit? And some of them, the ones that excite me more, I go, I don't think I can. And then it's like, it creates this excitement to you. You know what I mean? It's and rock just doesn't have any of that right now.
Yeah. I think the danger element is definitely missing because and maybe you're right. Maybe bands that do have a little bit of an edge or a little bit heavier or harder, except again, like I said, except for, I feel like a band that was able to thrive in that era, like there were bands that are heavy and kind of weird that were able to find a way. And I think System of a Down was able to do it. But then you look at bands like, not that Foo Fighters really ever had an edge necessarily, but they were an alternative band at one point, just like Green Day. But then you also see videos of them on stage now bringing up a kid with fucking some Make-A-Wish kid, putting their guitar on him and being like, go ahead, buddy, go ahead. You know what I mean? And it's like, and everybody goes, oh, he's playing Welcome to Paradise. I remember that. He wasn't even born yet. I wasn't even born. You know what I mean? Like it's generational, like where the edge is kind of like bred out of the fan. So now when you go to a Green Day show, you go through 4 security lines, you pay $800 for a ticket, you go up there and you might have your kid brought up by Billy Joe, and he's gonna go, you can play the song, buddy, you can do it. And Dave Grohl goes, wow, he's better than me. And it's like they're all dads now.
But I think that's kind of what they're supposed to do, though. Like I remember when I was obsessed with Green Day in high school,
they're not being replaced by another edgy
band. Yeah, that's what I was gonna get to. Yeah. And the problem is like people are just doing that. There's no new generation of people with like having an edge or anything like that. And I think that correlates to the fact that like I don't know, I think we're not depending on where you are sort of politically or philosophically, we're not necessarily the most inviting to like outside ideas and stuff like that. So I think a lot of these bands are realizing I'm not saying this is the whole thing, but I'm saying because like nothing happened. There's no like absolutes with this. It's always like a variety of different things. Like in the fact that, and this kind of correlates to shout out to 12 Roots in the chat, but he goes, is this something to do with labels, right? The labels get radio play, don't sign newer rock bands anymore. And
yeah,
and that is an element of it, because I think like music labels are probably going, it's similar to movies, how every movie is revamping an old thing, or they take an established thing and they're like, all right, make them a different color, shit like that. And it's just it's like, hey, could the black guy get his own thing? No, he's just gonna do whatever the white guy was doing, like various things like that. Or it's like, oh, we'll see that, but this time with a Spanish lady. It's like, it's lazy. You know what I mean? It's not so much about
a million times, yeah.
And it's not so much about the race shit. It's just, it's fucking lazy. Like, we want a new good thing. That's why what was the one fucking cartoon? Not Limitless. I forget what the fuck it was, but there was this like superhero cartoon, and it would like all the characters were Asian, but like no one even talked about that because they were just like, oh, that just fucking rules. It's just a really good fucking cartoon and all this stuff. And I think the music industry is sort of using a similar mindset because they're so I don't know. Maybe it's financially harder to take that risk or whatever, or they just now. It could also be the fact that we've talked about this many a time before. They're also just fucking lazy. They're like they're lazy and they don't seem to like to evolve and adapt and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I mean, but they are adapting. I mean, at least in those genres. You know what I mean? Like you look at
here, let me make a slight argument to that when you said, because this is what I wanted to this is what I wanted to bring up earlier, because I was trying to find these top rock lists, and like so this is another reason why shit's down bad. So we're over here on Spotify, and this is when you go into rock music, this is the rock this is what's happening in rock. And like look at who most of the bands are. Bring Me the Horizon, 30 Seconds to Mars, Foo Fighters, Fall Out Boy, Pierce the Veil, Blur, Queens of the Stone Age. Like, oh yeah, it's all bands that have been around for like 2 decades.
Right.
Now there's some other ones like Nothing But Thieves, but I'm pretty sure they're generic butt rock new metal. Yeah. Paris, I don't know what they sound like. Bad Omens is kind of like that. They're generic butt rock, metalcore, whatever the fuck. So
okay,
I guess
so that's rock music though. Is there? But what we've been given, is there a metal genre list? Do you know what I mean? Because because I wouldn't argue with that necessarily. But it's just not making mainstream, or it's not making, like, to me, like Five Finger Death Punch and Bullet for My Valentine, shit like that. It's not like it's close, but it's like I don't know. It's not what I would consider. I mean, it's on the lighter end of a spectrum of metal, I guess, but it's more like there's definitely heavier shit. You know what I mean? Like it's about making that shit as popular as those things.
Yeah. So I guess the point I was trying to make was I think they're sort of maneuvering in a similar way where, like I was saying with the record industry, there's not a strong effort, or I'm sorry, with the movie industry, there's not a strong effort to bring in new stuff.
Well, I guess you're right about that, but like if you think about what was popular back when Foo Fighters and stuff like that came out originally, when they were first on the list, because you're right, and as far as the rock genre, it doesn't seem like they've changed at all. If it's all like Pearl Jam, fucking Foo Fighters, Blur, fucking Blur. You know what I mean? Like they have those.
Bro, people barely give a shit about the Gorillaz now.
Yeah, isn't that fucking Gorillaz now?
Well, it's the lead singer of the Gorillaz. Is the lead singer of Blur,
right? So like, I mean, I don't know, but in rap or pop or hip hop or something like that, it has adapted in that sense, where because the artists are adapting. Like, so if Tupac was really popular back in the 90s, Nowadays, it's the various amounts of baby that are out there, both little and all that.
Both
And
lol.
there's trap music. There's all this. That is absolutely adapting. But as far as rock, it is. You're right. It's, dude. Rolling Stones are still on some fucking lists a lot of times, and I'm like, I again, we've gone over this about the classic rocks and shit like that in the past. I understand that they have a place, but if you're not mixing in some kind of new blood somewhere, I think, you know what? I think I said System of a Down was the last band to do it. What about Slipknot? They definitely pussified up big time, but they were they were pretty fucking different and pretty fucking heavy for a while. They were weird. Marilyn Manson too.
I would push back on that by saying I don't think Slipknot pussified. Slipknot.
Oh, you right. Slipknot.
Oh, you wear the mask and write the heavy music. Oh, I hit the keg with the bat. Oh, I'm a Slipknot.
Fuck this world. Sorry, I heard you say Slipknot, and I was like, Slipknot.
No, dude, I did that exact thing. I did that exact thing to Nate on the last episode of Panties. He said one word. He said one word weird, and it turned into a 5-minute riff where I was doing Southern accents. I completely support that. Oh, I should give more in the chat. Whoever this is, official BNA music. Paris is good. Okay.
Their Paris is fucking representation.
What?
Their Paris is representation. That's
their guitar track. No, I just, well, and I actually appreciate those comments, because if you watch our fucking channel, then I will consider you're saying. You know what I mean? We're not at a point where I can write off our viewers' opinions.
Actually, that's a great point.
What else does he say? Rap does a better job of pushing new artists. The gatekeeping in gatekeeping is killing rock music. Bands like Devil Wears Prada are just now getting their just due. But that kind of coincides with gatekeeping, because it's like I hate to say it, but they're butt rock now.
Yeah.
It's like,
Devil Wears Prada. Yeah,
Devil Wears Prada is butt rock now. Like, I was just listening to, this was another thing I was thinking about bringing up, because I'm really getting into Christian metalcore. Dude, I've been listening to early 2000s Christian metal, and I was listening to Devil Wears Prada old shit earlier this week, and it was like, yeah, dude, they don't got none of that shit that got me excited about them back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know if they are finally getting their due, or if they were finally broken. They were finally broken, and they, you know what I mean? Like, they're a wild ass horse out there in the range, and finally, whether it to be, because Thrice broke themselves. Thrice was trying to get, like, they had major label appeal. They were on a major label. They had popularity, radio play, all this other stuff. And then they tried to get it back. It was so weird. Like, I don't know. And this is my personal opinion of that. Like, where a band, where they sometimes maybe they just feel like that's the right direction to go. You know, we've talked about artistic direction in the past, but I wonder if this was a conscious choice to get their respect paid. You know what I mean?
I don't.
Or if that just coincided and now they're just marketable, you know?
I don't think it's hard to say what it is without having the bands actually like confirm or deny stuff, but I always love to bring up like a Day to Remember. They're like the best example, where they were pretty good and consistent for a while, and then they just randomly put out one album that, you know, electronic drums, they're fucking pairing up with that Marshmello guy, you know, and stuff, and
the Stay Puft guy.
Yes, they're doing the ending of
My Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but no, they're the Marshmello dude's like a DJ or some shit, like some EDM guy, which is like fine. I love Every Time I Die, or I'm sorry, I love I was just watching. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to show you. I just reminded myself of something I really wanted to show you with talking about Every Time I Die. Here it is. I'm gonna this.
Sorry,
No,
looked up Marshmallow DJ.
I don't want to watch this fucking Tom Segura doc. Actually, I might.
Is it a documentary?
Yeah, he made a documentary for his tour called I Came Everywhere. Sorry, I'm pulling up this video I want to show Pat later in context to Every Time I Die. No, I love Enter Shikari, and they have a lot of like synth, electronic, dubstep, whatever the fuck. But when you hear a band like A Day to Remember and they sound a certain type of way, and then randomly for one album, they just have, random fucking EDM bullshit in there. So my response to hearing that garbage album was like, oh, you guys are trying to pop in the mainstream and like make a big nut, because I think some of these bands, because let's be real, like Devil Wears Prada, they were popular, but do you think they were ever rich off of that band? Like in their heyday, in the times that we love the Devil Wears Prada the most.
No, they had to pay back all those royalties for Reptar.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think but no, yeah, exactly. They probably were fine the whole time, but I don't know if they were ever rich. I don't know if they ever made a bunch of money so they could have like a strong savings account and stuff like that. And I think you get to a certain age where you're like, okay, we already wrote fucking 4 or 5 amazing albums. Let's write a couple butt rock ones so we can sign a deal with Madden or get a fucking commercial for something and just make a shit ton of money on the last stretch, which I respect to a degree. I don't enjoy your music, but I get it. Being in a hardcore band is not super profitable. And if you can realign if you can realign your skills to sort of make a nut on the tail end, I'm not going to like your songs, but I'm not going to like fucking fault you for it per se.
I was just thinking about, so I almost exactly what you're talking about with A Day to Remember was my, it was my main, I'm sorry, I'm looking up albums real quick, but there was a, that exact, that exact scenario was when I tapped out for Avenged Sevenfold. I remember the day I went into Best Buy, the day the album came out, and it was City of Evil.
Mm-hmm.
There was their follow-up to Waking the Fallen, and I popped it in the car, the CD player, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? And when you make a drastic change like that, but this is my point, was I was like, what the fuck is this garbage? And they blew up. So like,
that is the risk you take,
right?
Because what these bands do is they get their in those scenarios, you get established and you get your respect off of doing a certain type of thing, and then you try to take that and you parlay that into
sell.
We're gonna sell out a little bit get huge. But the problem is, this is what happened. This is what happened to fucking New Found Glory. They tried to pivot a little bit, and then that new audience that they were trying to grab onto went, and then you risk the old audience going, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Now,
nice try, pussies.
Yeah. So I think that's what, there's bands like Code Orange. Like if you listen to, Code Orange?
Yeah.
If you listen to old versus current Code Orange, they're literally doing like industrial goth metal or something like that. But their old stuff was like pretty crazy hardcore music. Now they did a modern pivot, and I think they're pretty fucking popular right now. Now with Day to Remember, they tried to do the pivot. And I think, I don't have like a strong finger on the pulse, but I think everyone was kind of like, yeah, no. And then funny enough, so they put out the album that they put out that was a huge stinker, in my opinion, and anyone with half a brain's opinion, in my opinion, was this one, You're Welcome. You know what? I always got to show A Day to Remember love, because they had this one song, Last Chance to Dance, Bad Friends, has one of the best breakdowns I've ever heard. Okay. It goes so fucking hard, but the rest of the album, Hot Garbage. So they put that album out, and then the funny part is, right, when was that? That was 2021, and then very quickly, yeah, in 2022. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I might be. Was that song on this out? No, it wasn't. Okay, good. They randomly in 2022 put out this single for this called Miracle, and a Miracle, funny enough, just happened to sound like their old shit. And they haven't put they put that song out, and then they haven't put out anything since. And from my perspective, I could be wrong. I don't know what's going on in the band, but from my perspective, it seemed like they were going, "Oh, just kidding on all that bad shit. We still play breakdowns and shit. Don't worry."
Yeah. I think there's something about staying loyal to your music and still getting popularity, right? So, I was not a current fan when this was taking place, but I know there was a lot of grief being given to Bad Religion for being on a major label. They were on Atlantic Records for a while. But dude, those are some great fucking albums.
And
those
they never changed their sound.
No, and that's what I was saying. But I personally was upset, and I don't want you to take offense by this, because I'm a Blink-182 fan as well. But I remember when Blink-182 was going on their tour, I think it might have been not long after Enema of the State. They were going on this big arena tour, like huge arena. And the band that was opening up the shows was Bad Religion. I was, at that point, was so upset with Bad Religion, because I was just like, guys, you're better than this. You should headline. I'm not taking into context that they were probably cashing in. They're probably making great money, only have to play half an hour, and then they get to go they cash a huge check. Probably they're actually able to cash in on that mainstream, but everybody was still giving them so much grief about selling out, when they're like, dude, Stranger Than Fiction is a great album, and that was on Atlantic Records. That was their first one on Atlantic Records.
We've talked about this a bunch before, but people have a skewed idea of selling out. Selling out doesn't mean you can't go to, like, you can't. Selling out doesn't mean you can't go to a major label. You can go to a major label. It's just when you go to the major label and then you start sounding like a generic pop band or something like that, you're like, that's selling out. If you don't change your core ethics or whatever the fuck, or you don't have an inorganic shift, that to me is selling out. Like Brand New, they shifted heavy into some teenagers, which wasn't good, but musically,
their personal life, not a fan, but
not great shifts,
stuff, great.
But musically, you go from their first album to their last album, big shift musically, but it didn't sound inorganic. So it's like, that's not selling out. And also, if you're going to shift to like weird indie band, you're not. That's the pure definition of not selling out.
I think there's a difference between like selling out and like cashing in kind of thing. Like, so cashing in is closer to what was referred to earlier as like getting their dues, I feel. But I think cashing in is selling out's like using GPS, and like cashing in is like using a map. You can still get there, but you have to like know how to do it. And I think Bad Religion was a band that kind of did that. They just like stayed there, kept reading the compass, and just kept going and doing what was morally right for them, no matter what any of their fans were talking shit about. And then what?
Read it.
Brand New was a band name and sadly a preference. I didn't know that was their motto too. Ooh, that one's new.
Ooh, Brand New.
Crack that one open right there.
Fucking
front row.
Fucking snatch that Tamagotchi out of her hands and tell her to come back here.
Side note, speaking of bands that I love opening for other bands that I'm like, like as far as like, I think the order should be a little switched. I realized that tour information that I was giving you, if my stupid fucking family wasn't visiting, I would be able to make it to one of those shows. But they're stupid showing up, and my stupid family.
Which show?
The Better Lovers tour is actually them opening up for Under Oath.
Oh yeah, the Better Lovers tour is actually a good ass tour.
Yeah, it's like Under Oath and somebody else that was like pretty big.
So let's shift into that talking about, because I really want to show you this video, but real quick, let's see these
Yeah.
comments real quick. I feel like a lot of music is different. A lot of music in the different rock subgenres and Spotify editorial playlist is really bad. I agree with that.
Oh.
But there's good new rock music if you look for it, but they usually don't get placed, which correlates to a big reason why I originally wanted to start this podcast, because everyone always goes, music sucks now. And you go, no, there's just more of it. So there's more music. So the shittier music is more prevalent. But I'm telling you, all the bands I listen to now, so many fucking ways we can go with this, because there's so much stuff I wanted to tell you guys about this week. But this is why you listen to this fucking podcast, because the newer music is sometimes harder to fucking find. So what we do on this podcast is we do the hard work for you, and we help you invest early on good quality bands.
Oh, is this a buy now?
Yeah, this is a buy now. I found this one fucking band, since we're on the topic, I found this one fucking band that I really want you guys to invest early.
But real quick, right before you do that, I think that point was great with the bands, like as far as rap and rock genres being so like rock genres are so splintered, whereas rap and hip hop are pretty much like there are different subgenres in that, but rap it's all rap. You know what I mean? Like it's all kind of wrapped up. It can be played on any rap station.
That's a really good point to bring up, because like I was joking about it earlier, being like autistic about genres and stuff like that, but that is actually like a huge fucking problem for rock fans and more underground music fans and stuff, is this obsession with categorizing. And I don't think rap really goes through that. Rap is really just like, we like rap.
The rap station, whereas like a rock station goes, this is your best of alternative classic rock or whatever the fuck it is, but it's all like the same bullshit ones. Whereas a rap station will go, here's your today's rap hits. Here's a trap song. Here's a fucking chopped and screwed song. Here's a fucking, I don't know the third one. A classic hip hopper song. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
this is like your oh fuck, I don't know what the genre, that like West Coast, where it's more like beep boop bop.
they'll play any genre of rap on the rap station, whereas rock stations are, this is your genre station. Here's your genre station. Here's your genre
dude.
Station.
I didn't even think about that. That's the overemphasis of genres and stuff, because there is some sense of like gatekeeping to that. I used to do that when I was younger. Like it's why I was like too old before I started to realize like, oh, women fronted bands are good. Because when I was in high school, I was like, there's a girl in it. Ew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's probably that's not exactly a genre thing. That might just be mild mannered high school misogyny. But no, there is a thing like, okay, perfect example. Like I remember, I think every dude did this, where like if you liked rock music, it wasn't cool to admit that. I mean, let's be honest. NSYNC had some bangers. Backstreet Boys had some bangers. You weren't allowed to like admit that, and it correlates to like there was a bunch of emo bands. This all just comes back to mild sexism, I'm realizing, because there's a bunch of emo bands where you're like, oh, I never listened to them. They're for girls. Like I never got deep into All Time Low because I was like, they're for girls, and then I listened to All Time Low now, and I'm like, All Time Low's kind of fun as shit. Yeah.
I remember hearing a Chiodo song, and I was like, God damn, this rules. And then like the another part, their hit song. I think the main song that everybody knows by Chiodo. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Chiodo song. Yeah.
Stop, drop everything. That's the other one that's big too.
That's the one I'm like, God damn, this is fucking. And then the next part plays, and I'm like, oh, this is a girl band.
Oh yeah, you hear Pete. But I will say this about, if we can go on a slight left turn on Chiodos, this is why Chiodos was still, because there are some bands where you go, this is kind of a girl band, but it still fucking pops with dudes.
I still rip that song. I crank that fucking song.
Well, because
right now.
what's that song? The word best friend. I think it's called "The Word Best Friend Becomes Redefined." I think is the name of the song, and that's a perfect example because of what Chiodos did so well. Is they were, for all intents and purposes, kind of a girl band or a band for girls, but in their songwriting, they incorporated like hardcore shit. So, like, you hear the flowy piano in the second part, but that first part, that is a breakdown any band would be proud to have. Just the way that they're doing, the way that they're doing the hammer-ons and shit. That's a breakdown any hardcore band would be proud to have. So dudes like us would listen to it and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, sick breakdown." Then you hear the pianos and you're like, "Yeah, whatever. I'll just wait till the next breakdown. I don't actually like this part."
Yeah, I don't like this part. This is the part where I would turn around if I was in the crowd. I'd be like, no,
and then people start looking away and you immediately start going like, "Oh my god,
I feel so bad."
Sing it. Wait, what was it? Sing it to me, Craig.
Who hurt you?
let me fix you, Craig. Oh wow, thanks for your nice comment, Petey. Honestly, listening to this on a Sunday morning with a coffee rips. It does. Yes. Let us be your Sunday morning coffee rip.
Yeah, hell yeah. I also am ripping some coffee as well. I finished off that stupid herbal tea I was drinking, and now I've got some coffee.
I'm ripping with my favorite music mug.
I've got a bullshit corporation mug.
This is Run the Jewels. It's one line from their song Blockbuster Part 2, and the line is "Fist to your face, it's fucking Folgers." And I think for copyright reasons they had to censor out Folgers and nothing else.
Oh, really? So they got hit with copyright shit? But sorry, yeah, I interrupted you with that point right in the middle of you addressing a buy now.
No, before we get to the buy now, let's just more comment I wanted to bring up. Heavy bands can double down like August Burns Red or pivot like Red State Butt Rock like Asking Alexandria. They aren't even British anymore. Were they British? I always thought they were Australian.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about Asking Alexandria. Funny enough, I just posted an Asking Alexandria reaction, and it is like, you know what the most annoying part? Dude, I did it again. I can't not be an Italian fucking idiot. The most annoying part.
Chiodos.
The word best friend becomes redefined. I'm pulling up Asking Alexandria because they just put out a new song, and I did a reaction to it. And the most annoying part of this new song, I think it was called. Yeah, exactly. That's the guitar tone. Yeah. I think the song's called Bad Blood. I don't remember. It's not you don't need to listen to it.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant what it's called. But the annoying part about the song was it was just like boring and shitty and stupid the whole time. And then at the very end, they bust out some cool heavy riff. And you're just like, guys, you could have been doing this the whole fucking time.
Put it together.
You're going to just do the shitty part because it's like, dude, no one cares about shit that sounds like this right now. It's boring and uninspiring.
Yeah, nobody thought this would be your fucking follow-up kind of thing.
Yeah. What is this? Chiodos is a gateway band for girls to get into heavier music, but there are like ASMR for guys who already like heavy music.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where you're like, this sounds like something I like. And then you're just like, no, I don't like that.
Yeah, right.
But no, literally, it's weird because like I have, to me, there's certain songs or certain riffs or parts of songs that like give me like fucking literal goosebumps, and like and it happens the most. I have that sensation the most with music. Those are the things that give me that kind of maybe that's what he's talking about, the ASMR thing. But there's that, just thinking about that riff and just how fucking crisp that tone is on his guitar, and how, like you said, the hammer-ons for that song, the one and only Chiodo song that I know and give a shit about. By the way, I looked up because I am going to listen to it as soon as we're not recording. Is still their number 2 song. They have a release in 2023, but I think it's a re-release.
Who are you talking about, Chiodos?
Yeah.
They just put out a bunch of
re-release stuff, I think.
It's like acoustic versions of a bunch of songs. But they haven't
specified that one, and I'm not going to be happy about it. I'm listening to the regular.
Yeah, they haven't really put out shit in forever. They're I know we bring him up a lot. He's one of my he's my what's the term? The plug. He's the plug when it comes to fucking underground bands. But Tyler Langholz, he's a big fan of everything Craig Owens, and so I think he's been telling me about that. And I think he's really just focusing on that band Drugs right now.
Nice.
But yeah, Chiodos, they put out some good shit, but I was only ever really into that first album, All's Well That Ends Well.
Yeah.
I'll get their back. That song has a lot of good fucking songs on there.
The album, yeah.
Yeah. But oh yes, we were talking about some opportunities to invest early.
Yeah, sorry. I saw that and I'm glad that that was a good little side convo. I'm good. Oh, they broke up in 2016. Okay, good.
Yeah. I didn't know. Well, I didn't know if it was a. I didn't. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. No one needs you. I didn't know if it was a breakup or just we don't really do it now. But okay.
I will say this: bands like this, and this is why rock bands are 10 times more respectable than any pop act or any pop band or group or whatever, is because bands' popularities tend to ebb and flow, right? Sometimes they're popular for a while and then their popularity goes away a little bit and then they go on like a mega tour with a bunch of other bands. Like, have you seen those mega tours with like, it's like Salt and Pepper, LL Cool J, Brian McKnight, Boys to Men, like it's like a bunch of different like groups together on one thing, and they each come out and do like their hits and then leave.
Yeah.
And they like that's the difference. I feel like is like a band like Chiodos may regroup and may do that, but they're not going to just come out and play like the two most popular songs with a bunch of other, like at Warped Tour they each played a half an hour. You know what I mean? No matter how popular they were, everybody had a half an hour set. So I think that's another thing that not only should heavy music get more of its due in mainstream, but also that should be recognized. The fact that like even when pop artists like they're not even putting out new music, but even if they are, they're only asked to come out and play 4 songs and then leave. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to hear anything else from them.
You know, it's funny. When you brought up rap, I was thinking about this too. This might have something to do with it where like just the sheer fact that rap music, you know, just by the sheer fact that in older songs, not in all of them, but in like a main theme in a lot of rap songs is I'm making money. So that like just having that essence there, it makes them more financially minded. Now with a lot of the genres we listen to, there's a heavy, and I love them for this, but there's a heavy fixation on just the artistic standpoint, and they're never really thinking from a financial standpoint. And I've made the point before, like, don't get me wrong, it's easy to just sell out and shit like that, but like you can still like make money and be artistically focused. But I think they don't do themselves any favors by not being financially minded in any way. I'm trying to think where there's this YouTube show called I think it's called Majority FM or the Majority Report. It's this dude Sam Cedar, and a lot of times he'll go on about how like they're like ultra progressive and left wing, and a lot of times they'll complain that it's like there's more money in going online and talking right wing politics. And I'll see some of these right wing people will comment on that, and they'll be like, "No, we just have better business models, dude. Like we get subscribers. We don't just rely on like just ads or something like that. Like we do, or we don't just rely on YouTube shit. Like it's you know, certain people are just better at monetizing their shit. Like 50 Cent's a great example. You know, just something as little as knowing when he got involved with Vitamin Water, he told them like, yo, just don't pay me, just give me percentage, just give me stocks or whatever the fuck he got. And then the dude was like became a multimillionaire very fucking quickly. Like Vitamin Water like made him the most money, I think, versus his music and shit. So I think there is a thing too where I think it would benefit. Now, I'm not trying to blame them or anything. It's a hard endeavor and stuff. But if some of these bands were a little more financially minded, they might set themselves better up for long-term success.
Yeah.
Um,
You read that too?
no, what does that say?
It's the
Who are we talking about? Chiodos?
Yeah,
Their
I
last
remember this,
tour
actually.
run featured the singer guitar. Oh yeah. What's his name? Tom Iraq. He was in Chiodos for like a year.
Yeah, that was, and I think he's right too. Like missed opportunity for sure, because that would have been really, or would it have been? It's almost like how I've felt about some drummers, or sometimes when the bands play the little a little do-si-do with their members, they like
Yeah.
to switch them around a little bit, and you hear about like the drummer from Dillinger going to Coheed and Cambria or something like that, and you're just like, man, really? It just feels like, I feel like, yes, missed opportunity maybe for future albums, but for existing Chiodo songs, it would have been stifling for fucking the guitar player from Fall of Troy to just sit there and not noodle for 20 minutes. Like, what are you doing?
And that's when
you
stuff
gotta
like
let 'em fly.
you're talking about lineup changes. That's stuff where you got to keep in mind where it's like, you always have to remember there's a million things happening at once. Like, it's funny, last week you were talking about something to wrestle with, and they're talking about not something to wrestle with. That's the one podcast with Bruce
Dark Side of
Pritchard.
the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
Steph bought the season. I saw she bought the whole fucking season. So we've been barreling through Dark Side of the Ring episodes, and right before recording this, we watched the Junkyard Dog episode.
Oh, don't tell me.
And it was a really good. It turned out white the whole time.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and a cat was never a dog at any point.
I knew it.
But
There's a reason I like that guy.
The Junkyard Dog one was funny because, now I'm not going to sit here and act like race never factored into anything about his career. I'm not going to sit there and pretend like that for 1 second. But then also they were also like, yeah, he kept doing a bunch of crack and not showing up to work.
Is that frowned upon?
Apparently they were nerds back in the 80s. But that's a thing where wrestling fans do this all the time, where it's like, well, why couldn't they figure out something for this guy? And it's like, I don't know, maybe he's doing a bunch of crack and not showing up to work. Like, that's always a factor. Like, there's this dude EC3 who like ripped shit, amazing body, all this like fucking tight, great ass, suckable cock. Sorry,
Wait,
getting.
hold on, Andy,
what are we talking about?
Is he a wrestler?
What?
Is a wrestling man?
Or what? Wait, where am I?
Guys, Andy just woke up.
Sorry, I just woke up from a very sexy dream.
This is why they say never wake a sleepwalker.
But the dude EC3, people would always like, they just stopped using him for like a year before they fired him, and then people were like, oh, you can't find something for EC3. Well, then I started listening to a bunch of podcasts, and it's like, yeah, it seems like the guy just had a shitty attitude. Yeah, it's like you don't know what the other thing is. You know what I'm saying?
Have you seen the Canyon episode yet?
I think was that the first one?
I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about though? Canyon, the wrestler. Who's better than Canyon?
I don't know.
You would know. I think you would know. I feel like you would,
because I didn't watch. I started on the second episode, so if that's the first one,
I honestly don't know, because I had to watch mine on YouTube. I did not purchase it.
Oh, okay. Might have not, because you know what? They probably put the free one on YouTube was probably the first one.
But I watched the episode with Canyon, and like there is a weird thing where like, because usually, like, you're right, yeah, usually it's like, oh, there's he was diagnosed bipolar and stuff like that, so they can't officially fire him for that, I don't think, even back then. But this was all kind of attitude era, so also it was he was gay. He was a gay dude, like literally. So he was out with an injury for a while, then he came back, and he thought everything was going well, and they actually, how a lot of times they'll say like, oh, race played a factor or whatever. I really don't think I think they wanted to fire him because he was bipolar, but the only acceptable way that they were able to fire him or bury him essentially was to exploit the gay part, where they basically had him come out of a giant box and sing Boy George to The Undertaker. and then the Undertaker wailed on him with a chair for like
Yeah.
10 minutes or something. And then they're like, so they couldn't fire him for being bipolar. So they ended up firing him because he was gay. They just literally gay bashed him. And you know what I mean? So I think some of those stories are correct, but I think you're right. Most of the one, like the Jake the Snake one, where he's just like, oh yeah, I smoke a lot of crack. I wouldn't do a show unless they had crack waiting for me.
I only would wrestle crack.
Hey, so like, you're right. There's like a lot of times it's the same story of unacceptance, but it's also like sometimes I think you're being a little bit unreasonable, Mr. Jake.
Well, yeah, that's the problem where wrestling fans get tripped up, because it's like I was saying before, especially like back in the day, obviously race plays a factor on certain things, sexuality plays a factor, yada yada yada. But they had the best quote from Bill Watts, Cowboy Bill Watts from the territories and shit from the Mid-South or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
I think they were asking him something about black wrestlers or whatever the fuck, and he's like, hey man, my favorite color's green, because that's the thing.
Yeah.
Obviously all this stuff factors into it, but at the end of the day, these motherfuckers just want to make some goddamn money. So if you can make them some goddamn money, that'll go a long way. Pat, I want to show you some more stuff, but I have to piss the worst I've ever fucking pissed in my life. Do you want to tell the people what you've been listening to recently and what's been getting your sweet ass going?
Yeah. Why don't you go take a piss? I'll talk to these fine people.
Hell yeah.
It's just me now.
Shit. No, I was trying to bring you up as the main person. You know what? I'll just leave it on here.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I've been actually listening to a lot. I watched the recent season of Black Mirror and finally discovered the title of a song that I've been wanting to add to my playlist for the longest time, but I refuse to use Shazam because I don't want anything given permission to my microphone on my phone, except for apparently Zoom. But I was Rasputin by Boney M. Obviously, the song I feel like should hit the charts the same way that weird Stranger Things song blew up. I think it's as eloquent as that song. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but I've also really been anticipating Tsunami to release something else because also a lot of Sublime. I don't know what it is about Sublime. I didn't miss them. I wasn't like, I grew up in Florida. You can't not hear Sublime if you live in Florida. Plenty of cover bands, plenty of bands that did covers of Sublime. I've heard every version of fucking Santeria, every version of Date Rape, everything like that. But I've really been appreciating the more deep cuts and so when I was listening to Sublime, it was purely hits. So like it was the main album that has everything on it. The new Johnny Elsewhere's is really good. I'll check that out. But I've been listening to a lot of, like, somebody told me about a cover that Avail did of Santeria by Sublime, and I've been trying to find that, but I've really been digging my heels in deep cuts of Sublime, stuff that I missed when they were originally popular. Andy, I mainly listened to whatever was on the radio or whatever was off of, I can't remember, 40 Ounces of Freedom. Damn, I couldn't remember the fucking name. Yeah.
Sublime's a great band to correlate to what we were talking about earlier, where they fall victim to people thinking they're a shitty band because they're fucking, like Santeria. Most people only hear, most people only hear Santeria get played 1,000 fucking times, and it's like, no, dude, go. Now they didn't have like a huge catalog, but no, go into some.
Thanks a lot, Heroin.
Yeah, for real. What were you, a fucking wrestler in the territory days? Come on, dude. But no, if you go, Sublime had some deep cuts that they were always a band I felt got like, I don't know how to, like, appreciated in the wrong way, because I was gonna say underappreciated, and it's like I can buy I could go to nine department stores right now and buy fucking 3 different Sublime shirts. They're not underappreciated, but I felt like they got blown up and appreciated in the wrong way. And I know that sounds pretentious, but
no, I know what you're
I am pretentious.
but that's not being appreciated, in my opinion. That's being exploited. I think
Fair.
Sublime was being exploited for their hits because they had a lot of substance, and that was the thing was the fact that they're known for being the weed. I was mentioning while you were gone that some of the things that I've been listening to have been like things.
I'm putting Jamie's out. I'm pulling up my phone and putting Jamie Elsewhere's on that because I've been hearing stuff about that band. I want to check them out. But I'm sorry,
I didn't even say it right. I couldn't read. But no, I wanted to go back and I find myself now skipping a lot of those songs. Maybe not all of them, but the ones that you've heard a million times that I did get sick of, and I did get the impression that like, oh, Sublime suck or they're hack or something like that. No. They're very good. Yeah. And the earlier stuff that I used to go like, this isn't summertime. I don't want to listen to it. I want to now I'm like, oh shit.
I don't have a Corona. Get the heck out of here.
Right. I like if it's not on the radio, I don't want to hear it from Sublime. But you actually visit some of their deeper cuts or even just their whole first album. There's still a lot of bullshit. Like I don't love everything that they do, but there's a lot of really good like substance songs. So I would feel like I would suggest revisit Sublime, skip the hits if you're not feeling them, but like give some of the other older songs a chance. That's pretty cool. And I'll check out Jamie's Elsewhere as well.
I'll even defend Sublime's hits. Now it's probably because I don't listen to them a lot. But
it's
yeah,
good.
man.
It's good for
Santeria,
yeah.
What I Got's okay.
I feel like Pool Shark was a song that I really liked, and I mean that's a little bit more chaotic. And also, dude, seriously, their cover of that Bad Religion song, "We're All Gonna Die," is I picked that's on regular rotation for if people ask me what do I want to come up to. That's on my rotate that version of it. So
you were at the show when I came out to The Hammer by Kubla Khan, I think that might be my new walkout song.
Yeah,
that one felt because yes he did. And
he pointed that out.
I don't always want because Lemaire will come out to like Amur or Knock Loose, and I feel like that's too abrasive right out of the gate. But The Hammer by Kubla Khan felt like a good heavy song that's not, too abrasive. I
usually come out to Yacht Rock, which is fun. Something by Al Jarreau, but I think I'm gonna go heavier now.
Your entrance was really funny too because I gave you the highest energy thing, and then it was like Yacht Rock. Yeah, but it wasn't. They didn't have the volume up that loud, so it was just really. I was like, "Give it up for Pat George!" Bing, 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 bing. Let me show you this. Let me show you something, Patrick.
I had that once with a DJ entrance. The DJ was like, "Hey, Pat George," and they played a bunch of like sound effects, like dog sound effects, like "woo, woo, woo, woo." I was like, "That's not my energy."
Hell yeah, dude.
Sorry.
So yeah, Better Lovers is you guys probably know we've been talking about them a bunch. They're sort of Every Time I Die 2.0 kind of, but they're also their own thing. Like I have the review up on this YouTube channel. You could go check that out. They definitely, you have 3 members of Every Time I Die, one dude who's been producing all their albums. You're not going to sound a little bit like Every Time I Die.
Yeah.
But they still do exist as sort of their own thing. So it almost feels like Every Time I Die got, just like a shift. I was about to say upgrade, but I don't want to say upgrade because Radical's still one of the greatest albums ever written.
Facelift. A facelift.
Yeah, facelift. But no, they.
I think literally, by the way, I think the guy from Dillinger has a facelift, or he has got great skin.
I'd have to see a close up picture because I just assumed he was a pretty man. But you could tell if he's gotten. You can tell if he's gotten work done.
Oh, you know what? You're right. That is obvious speculation on my point. And why am I going to bring him down? Let's talk about him in a positive way.
Wait, let me. I'm curious on this before we watch this because I was watching this. So I got back from the gym. We made some coffee. We're sitting on the couch. What did you say? One of those times I died. Yeah. We're sitting on the couch. We usually do this in the morning. Drink coffee, watch a show or two and stuff. And while Steph was getting stuff ready, I was like pulling up YouTube and looking what was on there, and I saw this clip, and so we watched it, and then Better Lovers starts actually playing, and I look over, and Steph is just like, like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, she enjoys
Wow.
some of the stuff. Like, I was playing Boundaries for her one time, and she was like, I could get into this. I was like, no, you can't. Why do you say this?
Shut up, you liar!
You're lying. I know you don't like this.
You fucking let you slam the dashboard. You're fucking lying.
No, you know what it was? I was like playing it for her, and I was doing that thing where I give her a 20-minute story about why I like a song and stuff. I think she just didn't want to be like, yeah, I hate this.
It's funny that you bring up the fact that she doesn't like she wasn't it's so much into Better Lovers, because I just played Better Lovers for Dom last night in the car, and she was like, this is really good. And I think I believe her. I think she actually is interested in it, but she was also
Steph might be into the album recording better than this live video.
Yeah,
who knows? Maybe. But either way, let's pull this up, because they didn't just start playing. They had a familiar face intro them, and I thought it was pretty interesting.
It's every time I do lyric. One of my favorites, actually. Hey, look who it is. It's that wrestler. Chair. ECW.
Very special day today. Very special day today. How many people here have been in a room with me just like this? A lot of people. A lot of feelings. Last 23 years, we had a lot of feelings together, right? We've mourned people, we've mourned deaths. We have
really
been happy together.
I want to say this before we get too much farther into it. I don't understand the people, the wooing over every single. You're gonna see it a lot in this video.
Yeah.
Just like when you're in the crowd watching someone like this talk. I love Andy Williams. I think he fucking rules. I'd be ecstatic to hear him talk about stuff. You know what I mean? I've listened to him on podcasts, but just sitting there watching him, the constant wooing over every other fucking thing he says, you're like, are you like, what are you doing right now?
I blame wrestling.
Wrestling?
I blame wrestling. I think wrestling, it's all Ric Flair's fault. And then he just cozies himself up closer to those goddamn squared circle boys. And now everybody's wooing and slapping each other's chests in the crowd.
I hear what you're saying.
We've been sad together. Like, we've felt so much together.
I've personally felt stuff with him. I have mourned to death with them. I was at the show. They went on tour with Gwar. They were I like to say co-headlining a tour with Gwar, but really you don't. I mean, that's Gwar who was headlining, and Every Time I Die played right before them. And I saw them.
What year was this?
This was I can find out, but I don't know offhand. It was the year that Gwar's guitar player died while they were on tour. And this was the second show after that. They played the show that night, and they were all crying, and they were all out of costume, like half out of costume. It was a really sad show.
Wow.
But we were in the first fully costumed show after that the guitar player died, and Every Time I Die played right before them. Interesting that we have mourned deaths together. Andy, go on. Not you, Andy. Good Andy. Stronger Andy.
You say good Andy?
I said good Andy. Stronger Andy.
Oh, you're so
sorry.
Right. I wish I was as strong as him.
Next part, probably get a little.
Before we get into
he's already over it, by the way. He's already over the woos. He's like, guys, I just got to say this. Please shut the fuck up.
Well, that's the thing. It gets to a point where it's like, guys, you can't woo everything being said. You
woo,
gotta actually
more deaths. Woo!
Woo! People have died in their lives. We'll never get them back. I should have said I loved you one more time before they left us. Woo!
I wish I had called him that one time. Woo!
There was one point there was a bit of a debate between me and Steph. Could you function day to day with a mustache that big?
I was thinking about it. He not only looks incredibly silly, but it doesn't look like it is. He does. It doesn't look like a mustache anymore. It looks like, you know what I mean? It looks like there's something stuck to his face.
It's so like I remember like my blind fandom when Steph was making fun of him. I was like, "You shut your fucking mouth!" But then I was like, "You don't talk about that boy I really like." But then I really looked at it. I was like, I would hate to have that on my face every single day. Like, don't get me wrong. I want those traps. I want those arms. I want to look like. I want to look how he does in some overalls. That mustache seems treacherous to have to fucking live with.
Don't like it. It's not a handlebar. It doesn't look like any handlebar I want to hold.
Emotional?
Yeah, get emotional.
But the last time we were all in the room together, we didn't know we were going to be mourning. And now we have a band that's coming to take that away.
Okay.
We don't need to think about that. That was something in the past. It was rad. We had a great time. We had a fucking great time. Okay? One thing that doesn't happen in that world is a resurrection where a band kicks fucking ass after a band kicked ass. Now we have the ability to have a new favorite band. We have the ability to follow this band and feel everything again. So please, guys, please be present today and understand that we are watching something very special.
Feels like he's got a little regret in his voice.
Hey, wait. He's getting to the fucking juicy part.
Sorry. It seems like he's got a little bit. He seems like he has a little bit of regret in his voice when he's like, that's like he's just kind of not regret, but like he's like, man,
So
I really kind of want. I would love to be a part of this part of it. You know what I mean?
yeah, so I hear what you're saying. I wonder if there's part of that where he's like, I would love to be in this band. I think it does make sense that he focuses on wrestling right now.
Mm-hmm.
But no, here in a few seconds, you're gonna start a different emotion is gonna get very clear.
Three of my best friends are about to come up here and destroy you guys. I'm so happy I could be here for it. I love them to death. And I'm going to let you know something. The three people from that last band that are on this stage right now are the ones that gave a fuck about you guys. Please, be present. Feel this. Have a fucking great fucking time. And here we are. We're about to witness our new favorite fucking band, Better Lovers. Are about to go.
There we go. So that little bit at the end I thought was very interesting. It was like a fun little intro, and then there's that little bit where you're like, oh, he's still real fucking pissed at Keith.
And that fucking dickhead in the bath, Keith.
Bubble bath bitch boy.
Oh, bubble bath tweeter.
So yeah, I thought that was like an interesting new layer revealed about the, you know, us as thick bearded boys. You really love to find out the drama of every time I die current Better Lovers. So I thought that was an interesting what?
It's funny that, like, I mean, it's important to do that, especially being the first show back and everything like that. But like, you know, there's 5 people in the band, and he just keeps going like, these 3 people are my best friends. Those other 2 dickheads, you better be nice. Okay,
I'm sure
it means a lot to my best friends.
Why does it have to be the extreme? I'm sure he likes the other 2 as well.
But that's what I'm saying is he's not even mentioning the other 2 people. He's just like, these 3 people, they give a fuck about you. The other 2, I don't know. But
no, that's not what he's saying. That's
I
not
know.
what he's saying. He's saying in context to every time. He's going up there and going, Keith's a fucking asshole.
Right. Say it.
And ruin the band.
Fuck Keith. That's what the crowd should have started doing. But also, I okay. Perfect intro for a band. Perfect intro, great energy. But can you just slip in why you're not on stage with them? Just go like, I would love to be here with them to rock out with you guys, but now I'm a fan just like you. Or like
I mean,
has
I
he
don't know-
has he
I
addressed
don't know
why
how-
he's not in the band?
He hasn't, but I don't know if that's like a necessity.
I think you know.
Well, no, that's different. That's you'd like to know. It's not really like he has to fucking get that out there. I think it's kind of I think it's kind of obvious too. It's like he's probably just focusing on wrestling.
All right. Well, yeah. It's just I was also speculating, but that was a great opportunity for you to be like, I'd love to be here rocking with you guys, but I got to go out there and do some graps. But in the meantime, let's enjoy this rock and roll music, huh?
What?
I'm just spitballing. Like I don't know. Like obviously he had something prepared.
But you're like, why did he give me a specific reason of why he's not in the band?
Give me a reason. Like it's not even been addressed until that music video came out. I thought he was in the fucking band.
Pat, you really like to have a "What have you done for me lately" analysis to things.
I'm just, most people.
This was
look at
nice,
most people-
but are you killing your cat?
No, he just tried to push the light over. I was about to fucking kill him.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Why did he try to push the light over?
Because he's a piece of shit, and
No.
everybody's against me.
Well, you're just assuming that he didn't make that announcement in his cat speech.
People try to find the silver lining. I'm always looking for the brown lining. Where's the shit? I smell shit here.
You're like, how can I figure out that something else is actually?
Everybody would have been woo, and I would have been like, yeah, but why aren't you on stage? Where's your guitar?
Could you delve into that a little bit?
There's a guitar right there. Can you pick it up and play with them?
I love you.
Hey, you remember all those memories you were there for? Why aren't you here for new ones?
break that down a little?
Hey, could you just go into a little bit more context of why you're not joining him? I like literally he's going like, here's the details about Keith. Here's what's going on. Hey, that guy doesn't like you. Well, how do you feel about us? Because you're not on stage either.
But he didn't end the band.
He didn't start the band either. You know what I mean?
What if he was like, and I'm not in this band because I fucking hate you all.
Right. I want to know, like, dude, if you're putting, like, okay, so that's my problem with it. You're putting that into context. Everybody that's not on stage right now that's going to be performing music for you doesn't give a fuck about you, except for my 3 best friends and those 2 other guys.
That's not what he said, though.
He literally just said that.
No, he did. He did not say
He's not here because he doesn't give a fuck about you.
No.
I, on the other hand, have other priorities.
Pat, I'm putting you in the hot seat. So
Let's go. I'm sitting there.
Yeah, because it's mainly hot because you can't stop farting.
Yeah, and I turned the AC up.
But you're telling me the point he was trying to get across in the speech was, so out of the 5 guys coming up on, let me finish this.
Okay, yeah.
So out of the 5 guys coming up, 3
Right.
care about you and 2 don't.
Right.
Enjoy this band.
Yes. No. And Keith and I don't give a fuck about you.
You know what? I think that's exactly what he was trying to say.
He literally said that, Andy. This is not even my speculation. If you watch the tape, he literally said the people that aren't on this, that aren't going to be performing music for you right now.
He was saying in the context of
fuck you.
He was saying in the context of former Every Time I Die members,
himself included.
Well, no, there's also clear, if you step outside of your autism, there's also clear context. There's also clear context.
Whoa. Is that the pot calling the kettle autistic? Fuck off. Okay, bud?
Well, I'm self-aware. You have yet to acknowledge it.
You're the fucking master of harnessing autism all of a sudden. Okay, teach me.
Yeah, dude,
Daddy.
I'm the storm of autism.
You're the red storm?
Yeah, I put my hands out like this, and then I can count a bunch of shit really quick.
It's
67
also... toothpicks.
I like how you did the eye roll.
Don't touch my ears.
As I'm levitating.
you put earmuffs on and go. Start ascending.
Hell yeah. We don't have to. Okay, let's
All right,
move on to a different thing.
You're right. Yeah,
There's
you're right.
I want to wrap it up, but there's one more thing. This is kind of old, but I really wanted to show you this because I'm not normally a fan of Drake. I was just talking to someone about him. I've wait, what? Okay, never mind. Sorry, I was getting a weird message. I was actually like hardcore into Drake up until what was it? He did that shit with Future. His early stuff I got into, and then after he did that album with Future, I just sort of like fell off from Drake. But I always love to check into Drake because he's sort of, when he does anything, everyone spazzes the fuck out. And he always has he has a real knack for like just being weird and petty. And he did this at a show recently. This might be the most petty shit I've ever heard. You obviously know Donald Glover.
Yes. Oh, yes. I saw this. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
and also, aka Childish Gambino, he had a song called "This Is America." If you guys don't remember, it was a fun song that was like oddly. My favorite thing about hearing him talk about it was people were trying to ask him about the hidden meaning behind the song. He's like, "Nah, man, I was just trying to write like a fun, lighthearted summer banger." And it's like, dude, you kill a church choir in the video. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Summer, like it's a good, catchy song, but what are you talking about? Summer banger.
Yeah.
The fucking symbolism in the video is overbearing.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it's very heavy-handed as far. I mean, not in the way of like everything is very, 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 very obvious. It's like nothing is innuendo.
You can't go
an automatic machine gun, like you said, and just sprays down a church choir, a black church choir. Like,
yeah, you can't go 2 seconds in the video without some sort of like, oh, this represents the blah 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 and the whatever the fuck.
Right.
But anyway,
at the time, like you said, it was the message. The video was what was very popular as well as the song. So
yeah,
it came out side by side.
Yeah. But yeah, so this apparently happened at a Drake concert, and I'll read it for the people who can't really see or who are listening to the pod. But so I guess Drake had this big stage that was like LED or whatever the fuck the technology is now, and it just had like a ticker on the bottom. And the ticker on the bottom starts saying, the overrated and over awarded hit song "This Is America" was originally a Drake diss recorded, a Drake diss record.
The whole song was just the whole song was a record.
What?
the song was a record.
I think you can call it I think people call songs records
like
sometimes.
A release. Okay.
Yeah, like if it's a single or whatever, you can call it a record. But yeah, like wait, oh fuck.
Wait, how does he know that?
What?
How does he know that?
He probably knows behind the scenes fucking industry bullshit.
Like I guess was it originally a that's pretty cool that he's if that was a fact that if there is a copy of that with those lyrics. You know what I mean?
But no, like I think the more thing I'm focusing on is just in the middle of a Drake concert, Drake is letting you know that this song released 5 years ago was supposed to be a diss track, and he's adding the part that got me was the overrated and over awarded.
Yeah.
And it's it's so funny when because Drake's arguably the biggest rapper right now, but he's still like, yeah, I gotta get petty as shit and take some fucking shots.
Yeah, I but is that I guess is there truth to it? Like maybe he just got the news, like you say it was like 5 years ago, but maybe so in the whatever the thing was, there was originally, or the post that you had up there was a picture of them together, like smiling together in a picture. So what did they have a falling out? And maybe he knew this the whole time, and the guy was like, maybe at some point Donald Glover was like, hey, by the way, did you know this funny story? Actually, that song that I just put out was actually originally going to be a diss record against you, but we're friends, so you know what I mean? Like, or is this like, because again, I get it, but was this unprovoked? Because they say it's out of context. Was he addressing? We didn't have the audio up.
So I think that was just playing. That was just playing while he was performing. I think it's something akin. I tweeted this a couple weeks ago, so and I tweet too much, so I'm gonna have to scroll through a million things before I get to it. But so I'll just reiterate what was in it. I think it's akin to this clip of Pusha T that I saw, where Pusha T, because like he makes really good music, but a big thing on him is he's like the king of rap beefs. Like he's crazy detail oriented about the thing he's going to say about you, that he is very good at eviscerating people.
Mhm.
And there was this clip from an interview of Pusha T being like, I have files on everyone. Now, I don't know how true that is, but even if it's a little bit true, that means he's got like a few files on people. Like he just has information and details and all this other shit that he just knows about people, and he probably has verses set up and stuff like that. So whenever anyone tries to diss him, he can act quickly. And I think it's akin to that, where Drake probably knew this for a while, and then something happened where he caught wind of like Donald Glover making fun of him or whatever the fuck, and it probably turned into a like, oh, pot calling the kettle black or something like that. And he's like, all right. I was like, I've been sitting on this. I held back because I was being respectful, but now you're being a dick to me, so I'm gonna throw it out. I think it's something akin to that. Because it's so random. It's so random.
I'm a fan of this. This is what
I love it. I love it so much. This is what I like, because this is not like there. You're right. There is absolutely nothing really for him to gain from this at all. This is just him being petty, and it's just for him to say, so funny.
Oh, I heard you've been talking shit. And guess what? I just did this at my concert. I didn't tweet this. I didn't post it. I just did it at a concert, and somebody let you know. And then it went viral. And then, you know what I mean? Like that's, to me, I obviously, if I'm on the receiving end of something like that, I don't like to get big timed for sure. But when I see something like that, when you're big timing another big timer, I think that's perfectly acceptable. I love public beefs. Public beefs are just not, oh, I'm gonna beat your fucking wife up, or I'm gonna kill your kids or some shit. It's like literally when it's like, hey, by the way, this guy sucks. This guy's
I don't even think it's necessarily big timing per se, but I think it's also almost more akin to like imagine
it's somewhat of a flex.
Well, here let me explain my thought process. I'm trying to just think of an example, like a hypothetical example. Like imagine if you lent someone some money, you know, and like say you lent someone like $2,000 or whatever, and you know, to help them out with getting an apartment or just something like that, like a substantial amount of money, and then you guys are hanging out, and then you know, you don't have enough money to pay for fucking dinner or whatever, and someone's got to fucking spot you, and then that guy you lent $2,000 to starts trying to clown you for not having money, and it's just like, oh, you want to act different, you know, after I did you, and it's like, I did you the courtesy of
I don't have them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like I did you the courtesy of not telling. So it's like big time. That's my, obviously I don't know why Drake did this.
No,
that's my guess, is that it's like Donald Glover acted up in Drake's eyes, and this is him fucking getting his comeuppance.
Yeah, and I think the flex is him not like reaching out to Donald Glover personally and saying like, hey man, like I heard this happening, like what's going on?
Yeah,
he could have just cleared up with, like, if there is some kind of beef going on, if there's some issue with them, like it could have very easily been cleaned up under wraps, nobody posting about it, nothing, anybody finding out about, like, and especially not sharing that. So either, and this is the only speculation that I can really do here, is like either he did try to reach out to him and he was like, yeah, it is like that, fuck you, and he was just like, okay. You know what I mean, like watch this. Or he heard that he was talking shit and he was like, okay, all right, like, hey, I got a new message for the fucking stage tonight. You know what I mean, like, and was just like, watch. And that, I think that's the flex of him not reaching out. So maybe you're right, maybe he did, and he was like, yeah, it's actually, I did say that, and fuck you, you know, or maybe he's provoking. Maybe there was nothing, but I feel like most likely he'd heard he was talking shit and was like, okay, I'm gonna put this on my stage, and then I'm gonna just let it go viral, and I'm gonna let people kind of just talk about it instead of because he definitely has methods that I really, really, really identify with. The hot sauce and the condom thing is one of my favorite stories ever. Candy. I love that. He's one of the weirdest celebrities, like openly weirdest celebrity. I guess that even that wasn't
that never gets shit for being weird.
Yeah, he never gets shit for being weird, but he has weird but very effective tactics. Like I said,
he never gets treated as weird, but he is fucking weird.
He's fucking weird. But like I said, that hot sauce story, I'm glad for how weird he is, because the kind of weird that he is only exposes other people's dumb or weird as well.
That was the funny part about the hot sauce and the condom, because you're like, that's weird. That's weird as shit. But then you realize you're like, it's only a problem if you're a girl digging through trash for cum.
Right. and nobody was talking about that part. They're just like, what a weirdo putting hot sauce. Like, that's the
you're like, you understand he's deterring
it worked. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. And he's like, in that case, is a genius. So I cannot question this method until I get the full story. As of right now, still on Drake's side.
Oh, I'm down for it. I love watching celebrities be petty as shit, because it proves that money and fame can't solve your problems.
Yeah. You know, whenever people see like the tabloid or the paparazzi pictures or anything, and they're like, it's some dickhead shopping, and they're like, they're just like us, celebrities or whatever. This is the one where if I saw this headline, I'd be like, oh, celebrities, they're just like us. Like, fuck you.
Dude, and can you imagine all the like fucking petty and shitty instincts we have, but then surround ourselves with a shit ton of money and no one saying no? Can you imagine? The fuck? So yeah, we're gonna get out of here in a second, but I realized I forgot to tell you about this band you need to listen to, so I'll just tell you about this real quick, and then we'll get the fuck out of here.
We never even went to the buy now. We just kept getting sidetracked. I love it.
It's okay. It's a fucking podcast. But no, there's still people. People rewatching the pod might not get this far, but everyone's still watching. Go check out this band. I found them the way that a bunch of bands probably, or what am I trying to fucking say? I don't know what I'm trying to say. Basically, I found it in a very unlikely endeavor, but I was basically scrolling through TikTok, and their bassist had a TikTok that was, or no, I think it was technically Instagram Reels, but that's just fucking 2 months later TikTok. But I was scrolling through, and I think it was their bassist had like a fucking TikTok where they were like, how I get ready for Intimidator practice or something, and he was like two-stepping in his bedroom or something cheesy like that. And then I was listening, I was like, this sounds really good. Like, it reminds me of there's this genre, there's this like sect of hardcore where
hey buddy, I'm gonna run real quick. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go. I'll be right back.
Wait, we're almost done.
I gotta piss so bad.
Okay.
I'll be right
back. So there's like this sect of there's this sect. Jesus fucking Christ, this is why I couldn't have that goddamn Andy Williams. I couldn't have that fucking Andy Williams mustache, because this fucking shit right here is driving me absolutely fucking crazy. So how the fuck he has this gigantic monstrosity on his face, I do not know. But yeah, these guys are real cool. I don't know exactly what the genre would be called, but there's this like sect of hardcore that they still like have a very similar vibe to the Knock Looses of the world, the Kubla Khans and stuff like that, where they're kind of like heavier and intense, but they're definitely from a songwriting standpoint, they're much more like punk oriented, almost like a group like Terror or whoever. So this is why I didn't want Pat to leave. Like, I'm done now. It'd be funny to just end the stream without him. But no, actually, because there were some other bands that I wanted to show you guys. But yeah, definitely check out Intimidator, because these guys are fun. Because the reason I make the joke where I'm like buy early, invest early, if you can see it here, they literally have And here he is, sans piss. But no, and then you hear they literally have 30 monthly listens. And I'm so glad you're back for this part, Pat, because this is like we were joking about Koyo, but they're kind of established. Like they are still a buy early, but they're kind of established in the hardcore scene and stuff like that. These guys, like they just have their albums. I'd be shocked if they played a show yet. And it was really funny when I found them. They only had 29 monthly listens, and then I started listening to them, and it popped up to 30, and I was like, I did that.
Oh, yeah, dude. So now we know. Now we can track it. Are they still at 30?
Yeah, they're at 30 right now.
Dude, now we can track it. So now we know if they get to like 56, we can say, hey, you're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that would be sick. That would be sick.
I should have picked a bigger number, at least triple digits.
But
100, guys.
It won't be though.
No, but I'm excited about the Buy Now bands because of the fact that those are the bands that I've really enjoyed. Seeing concerts again, like going to live shows and shit. And this is another thing. Like I've seen so many of the bands that I love. Like even when NoFX says this is their last tour, I'm like, yeah, I've seen them so many times. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to break my back to see them. I would love to see it, but I'm not going to go out of my way. There's not a lot of bands that I have those feelings of like, oh, I gotta see them. But since, like getting into doing the show and stuff like that, like some of these new bands I've been introduced to since the show, like Jesus Piece, Knocked Loose and stuff like that. Some of these other bands that I wasn't really familiar with before, I'm like, holy shit, this is sick. So I'm excited. You got another one?
I was gonna say, since we're on, since that's the vibe, there's another one. I actually, funny enough, not friend of the show because he's never been on, but friend of mine and ours, Alex Nicholas of New Jersey comedy fame. And the reason it's funny that I found this band through him is like he's like a hardcore like backpack rap fan. I don't know if he listens to any rock or hardcore or anything like that. But I guess his buddies are in this band, and they're called Jawdust. And I get they were playing recently at Pet Shop where Nate, Alex, and Alex do their show there first and third Thursday of the month. Yeah, they were performing there. And funny story about Jawdust, they're kind of similar vibe to Intimidator and stuff, hardcore punk oriented band, really good fucking time. So check them out too. But funny story about them is I saw this happen in real time, but no, I didn't. I'm lying. I'm actually lying. I don't know why I said that. You know what? It sounded better, but that's
I'm actually in the band. A lot of people don't know that.
I'm Tony Jawdust.
Name's Jawdust. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Pleasure. It didn't happen. This is in real time at all. That just sounded like a cooler version of the story, but apparently they tweeted at known dork and girl kicker Hate Six.
Oh, that fucking douchebag.
On the camera. Yeah, it's just 300. I'm gonna kick a girl.
Her discussion before the show, I would be kicking the camera and you piece of shit.
But yeah, I guess they tweeted at him and were like, yo, wouldn't it be crazy if Hate Six and came and filmed our first show or something like that? And then he saw that and he goes, oh, I don't have anything to do tonight. So he did. And they managed to get and we joke about it. We joke about Hate 56 being a dirty, no good commie, but at the same time, all the time, because that's what he is. But at the same time, the dude does a dope service for like small hardcore bands and stuff like that. So it's actually cool as fuck that they were able to get a high quality recording of their first ever show. And I was watching that, and it's actually pretty fucking good. So go look up Jawdust and all that shit.
We should do that. We should see if we can get him to record one of our comedy sets.
That'd be fun. Oh, dude, and the whole time he's like...
and he's just speaking women in the crowd.
That'd be so funny if he just anyone that gets near him for any reason, he's like, ah,
Sarah, this is $10,000.
stop it, guys. All right, let's get the heck out of here. This has been a fun one. You guys know our shit, Baby Mermaid Productions. You guys know my shit. Check out the links. Have a good one. Thank you for listening. We love you all. Be about it. Peace.